watch a Deck the Hallmark episode. Thanks for doing that. Chances are the movie we're about to cover can be found on Philo.
Yeah, Philo's where you find all of your TV movies, all your reality TV shows, your kids shows. Philo's for everyone. It costs less than half of what YouTube and Hulu do.
That's exactly right. You can get Philo for 25% off for 2 months by going to philo.tv/DTH or click that little button.
That one right there?
Right over yonder.
Right over there? Oh, my goodness.
I think it's like above your head or something.
Really?
I don't know. Here's the episode.
Hey.
This is a Bramble Jam podcast. Hi, I'm Bran, and I love When Calls the Heart.
Hey, it's Panda. I like When Calls the Heart.
I'm Dan, and I despise When Calls the Heart with every fiber of my being, and this is the Deck the Hallmark podcast.
Whoa.
Yeah.
We're doing this now?
That time of the week, guys.
We're doing this now?
It's the When Calls
Thursday.
the Heart episode, the one really fans clamor for every week.
They're waiting for it.
They're waiting for it,
The
everybody.
Thursday edition.
I think this one's coming out on Wednesday this week.
Is it?
Yeah.
Another Wednesday edition. We did it.
Guys, are you excited about this?
Yeah.
This is season 4.
We're
Episode
not
2.
yet halfway done with the series.
But again, we
How's
talked
that
about...
hurt for you? Pretty good?
Are you serious?
Not even halfway done. If we get through season 4, that would be halfway. Hurts.
Why is this show so long?
But
so good.
again, if you guys want to switch to The Bachelor, Bachelorette, whatever, just let us
Just
know.
let us know. We'll do it. When's the new season of that start? Ever?
I think we can go to an old one, an old season.
No, I think it's got to be, in the zeitgeist. We got to be
think
just
it's
hit the ground running.
But maybe we should get our feet wet with an old season.
No, nobody wants to hear an old season. They want to hear the new stuff.
I think that they would take an old season to get our feet wet,
Okay.
right? When
Brand's not sick of When Calls the Heart. I know that much.
when is the next season of The Bachelorette?
Would we do better on Bachelorette, though?
Bachelor?
It took you a long time to say the word bachelorette.
That might be the first time I've ever said that word.
Bachelorette?
It was... Can I say this?
Bachelorette
I started off that word, and I realized about halfway through, I'm not sure I've said it before. Bachelorette.
You've said it before. Somebody said bachelorette party. You've said
That might be, but I would say
Would
it's
it
probably
be better
under
if
5
we started
times.
with the bachelorette.
I just wanted to make sure.
When's
I
that
got it right.
baby?
What's a baby?
The Bachelor season
25 miles an hour, like I told you. I don't know how many times I got to do this.
The network says Bachelor in Paradise season 7. When's the Bachelor? Someone just tell us in the chat.
Yeah, that's a lot of work.
Guys, season 4,
Yeah.
episode 1 or 2, depending on how you count the Christmas episode.
Amazon says 2.
Anybody want to take a guess on the name of this episode?
Oh,
There's some baseball.
The love of the
there's
game.
some-
Heart
what is
of
it?
the game.
Heart of the game?
Love of the game. Game of Hearts. Game of Hearts, final answer.
Final inning for love.
That sucks.
Rick?
Oh, yeah, I'm going to go with Heart of a Champion.
Ooh, all of those are good. This episode is called Words from the Heart.
That doesn't even make sense.
It's cause, you're the worst. That's because he says a speech at the end.
Oh, it's astounding. There were so many good sport boys you could do there with the heart.
I think your Heart of a Champion may have been the best
Heart
one.
of the Champion's a good one.
I really thought Final Inning for Love wasn't bad.
Yeah, that sounds like a Hallmark movie.
Yeah.
Are you guys ready to dive into it?
Oh,
Yeah.
please, could we?
Words from the Heart originally aired on February 18th, 2017, and it went a little something like this. The episode starts off with Jack and Elizabeth out on the boat again, just making eyes, and they're throwing zinger after zinger. You can tell they are in love.
Mm-hmm.
Abigail is still mayor because Gowan is still under investigation, from what I can gather. And people are bringing dumb things to her because she's the mayor. What can you do? A new person walks into the cafe looking for Abigail, looking for the mayor. The mayor can't be a woman, of course, right? But she is, and he is blown away by this revelation. His name is Ray Wyatt. Ray Wyatt. He is the director of Northern Pacific Railroads, and he explains that he is going to, quote-unquote, bring the future to Hope Valley. Ray tries to convince Abigail that having a railroad cut through Hope Valley is a good idea. Abigail isn't quite sure yet. Elizabeth and Jack decide now would be a good time for the kids to start a baseball team. One of the kids really loves baseball, but he hurt his leg. He's embarrassed by that, and he's sad that he's not going to be able to play. Jack finds out that he's going to get a nice medal for something that happened a while back. What's this medal for?
It's a medal of commendation for all the things he did. The Tolliver gang, the other guy, the things and the stuff.
Wow. Bill checks out some stuff that's going on, checks out the land where the guy wants the railroad to be, and they're going to lay tracks here. It's going to be great. And Mr. Campbell's like, I don't think this is the right place for this. Whatever. The children practice baseball poorly. There's a girl named Anna who throws the ball and is just rookie of the year. Just gonna be the pitcher. It's phenomenal. Cody, who's the current pitcher, is upset because he wanted to be the pitcher. And so I believe they split up into two different teams. Is that why that happens?
Yeah, well, they split into different teams because Elizabeth and Jack are going to coach each team, not because of Cody.
But Cody's going to be a pitcher on one team.
No.
Cody's just not a pitcher anymore?
Cody's just not the pitcher
He
anymore.
was hurt. Remember, he gets kicked out.
Cody does not. No. That was my question, is which team does the girl who's the rookie of the year play for? Because I thought she was on Jack's team, but I think she's on
Elizabeth's
Cody's
team.
But then the dude in the brace helps her, and then she pitches against him. So she's on Jack's team. And so is Cody.
Is she all-time pitcher?
No, she's on Jack's team. So is Cody. You remember Abigail gets out of the stands to argue Cody is safe, and the other team is Elizabeth's team. She's on Jack's team. Why the guy in the brace is helping her pitch, I don't know the answer to that question.
But Cody rounds the base right before that kid comes up. So
No.
Elizabeth is
No. That's later on. It's
later on, they
that's
do a
later on.
little. They do a little.
Yes,
Here
they do.
comes more. So as we're talking
You're
about,
locked in.
there's a baseball game going on. There's a big argument. Abigail, Elizabeth, Jack argue about whether or not Cody is safe. Big fun. And so there's a little girl who sprained her wrist somehow. Did we see how she sprained her wrist?
No.
She's hurt.
No, she's just.
And so the kid who has the hurt leg is like, you know what? I can do this. He gets one pitch, strike one.
Steps out of the box, looks the pitcher in the eye. You could read her lips. Hey, punk, you're mine.
So
he gave her a wink and said, let's see what you can do.
She pitches it.
Strike two.
So he changed something up. He kept his eye on the ball for this next one.
Yeah,
and he was going to
swung
swing straight and true. And he followed through.
He wasn't
and on
afraid.
this one,
Whatever the call.
that's exactly right. He hit it, and it was a home run.
I did all right.
Who was that?
Oh, me?
Yeah, you.
Baseball Dave.
Baseball Dave. Didn't we have a Dave on last week? Big Dave was on last week.
I don't know what you're talking about.
You don't know who Big Dave is?
No.
No, you're Baseball Dave.
I'm Baseball Dave. I need a home run.
Do you only show up when we talk baseball?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'll see you guys in 15 years.
That's right. Yeah.
It's not Australian footy. I'm out.
What? What did he say?
I don't understand.
If it's not, I don't know. So anyways, after this home run, Bill, the umpire, decides to call the game a tie. So this whole thing is going on the railroad. Ray wants to he's having a hard time convincing everybody this is a good idea. Gowan walks in and says, hey, Ray, I can help you grow this railroad. They're back on the boat. Jack tells Elizabeth that he doesn't know what to say at his acceptance speech. She's just like, hey, just speak from the heart. It's finally time for the big speech. He thanks God.
It's gone. Home run.
Baseball Dave.
Jack thanks God and his country, and that, my friends, was When Calls the Heart, Words from the Heart.
We did it.
We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back here in Tech Dolmer. So I was in New York 6 years ago.
Yeah.
I was on the corner of 31st and 5th. This cat walked out of a door, had a little cat door. It walked out of the door, and it had a note attached to its collar. And I was like, this seems suspect. And so because I care about the city of New York, I opened up the note, and I saw it, and it said, call this number, 555-123-FILO. And I said, this is weird and a lot more numbers than I need.
Necessary.
But I called it. Tammy Philo answers the phone.
Okay.
Says, hey, I've got a deal for you. You're going to love this. Me and the guy have been working on this for a while. Let's talk. I said, okay, let's talk. Next thing I know, I'm signing up for Philo, 25% off 2 months by going to philo.tv/DTH. And I've done that now. And what I've learned is that there's always something for me on. Something I can find, and there's something for the whole family.
Hallmark?
Yes.
BET?
Yes.
VH1?
Yes.
Nickelodeon?
Yes.
DVR?
Yes.
Unlimited?
Unlimited for a year.
Wow.
All I did was go to philo.tv/DTH. I'll never forget that.
Philo's for everyone. Now, I know there are some people that have skipped the ads. I do have a question about that ad. You said 6 years ago, so 2015, you get the phone call.
Yes.
And then you say, next thing I know, I'm signing up for the 2 months discount that we're giving right now. What happened in those between 6 years of your life? Do you not remember anything?
Here's something that I left out of that. I have figured out time travel.
Oh, okay.
I don't need to get into that right now, but it is possible.
So how did Tammy know the right code to give you?
I gave it to her.
And then she gave it back to
and
you?
she said, that sounds like a good deal. I'll sign off on it for the future. So this whole thing with Philo that we're doing is because I spoke it into existence 6 years ago by taking the information
Did you
gathered.
target this window in 2021?
I did. Christmas in July. I thought it was a good marketing idea.
Wow. Interesting.
Yeah.
Man, there's a lot there.
I actually said, Tammy, we should do a free trial. She said, no, let's do 25% off 2 months.
Really? You didn't think a free trial would bring more people in?
I thought.
Wow.
Let me ask you another question. Have you time traveled? I said fast forwarded to the future. Have you time traveled to the future? Do we finish When Calls the Heart?
I can't do that yet.
You can only go back.
I can only go back.
How far back have you gone?
I mean,
could you go back and stop When Calls the Heart from happening? And would that just be the end of this cast? That was a freeze boy. Really sorry.
That was good.
Freeze boy coming in hot.
yes. I don't know if next week we're covering The Bachelor. You know what's happened.
Yep. Yep, you do.
Are you guys ready to talk about this? Words from the Heart, Season 4, Episode 1 or 2. Guys, let's dive into this with the hot take. Panda, how are you feeling? What's going on in your mind? What's going on in your heart? Give us the words from your heart.
Yeah. There's a baseball game in this episode, which, and they really, which is more entertaining than maybe previous things that we've seen. Rosemary has a lot that she does, which they don't know what to do with her character, which is fine. She's just, what antics can she do this week? Jack really doesn't do much other than coach the kids' baseball team, but he does have a lot more time with Elizabeth, it feels like, on screen, and so I'm there for that.
I love how you just, when you're trying, you just talk through the episode.
We
already know what happened.
It's like a diamond. It's like a diamond, though. I'm looking at from every angle, every facet, Dan. I don't want to leave any stone unturned. Guys, this episode's real dull. It's real boring. I don't care about the train. I say you drive it straight through that guy's property.
Yeah.
I say you take his property, you throw him off.
Old
You
Jed
don't give
saw
him
it
another.
coming,
You
yeah.
don't give him another piece of property. We didn't want him around here anyway. Get out of here. In fact, I hope the whole town becomes full of rich capitalists.
Wow. Man, that is a statement.
The wealthiest.
Which, wildly enough, the core demographic of When Calls the Heart would probably agree with you.
Exactly.
In real life. But on the show, absolutely
No,
not.
no. Well,
monsters.
I tell you what, price gouge everyone. Drive the prices up, shut the town down, ruin it.
Kick rocks.
For the kick rocks. Guys, I don't care what happens in the show. I don't care. I've come to the point where I don't care about what happens to Jack and Elizabeth.
Welcome.
You know what?
Come on over.
You know what probably saved the show? The fact that Jack does die, because at least something happens.
You know what's great is that judge from season 1.
Golly.
Judge James Brolin is going to show up and bring the law with him.
It does. You know what? Nothing happens in the show. It's just, I'm not trying to rant. It's true. Like, we watched a baseball game they hyped it for the whole thing, and it ends in a draw. That is a microcosm. It is a perfect metaphor, if you will, of the entirety of this show. Nothing matters. It's all a tie.
Yep.
All of life is a tie, and we're all getting participation trophies that say, hey, you're all morons for watching this show,
That's exactly
but we
right.
did it.
Yeah.
I'll take the biggest trophy of them all because I was excited about this.
Yeah.
I'll
Yeah.
take the biggest one, and
You
it
get
says, you're the biggest doofus.
You get the You Were Wrong Moron MVP trophy.
I know it. Just put a dunce cap on me. I'll just sit there and...
Easy for you to say.
It is it because...
Bachelorette.
I thought this episode was fine. The baseball was funny, and I think that's all that I can ask for. I'm more intrigued by the railroad than you are. I think it'll be an interesting thing, especially...
You know what's going to happen? They're going to find a
This is
workaround.
I didn't talk.
I get it.
I didn't
It's not
talk
gonna
through
be
you.
Exciting. It's going to be. It's not.
Well, the reason why I'm excited about it is because of Gowan. Gowan might be up to something fishy
Oh,
again.
no, it's
He's back.
Gowan.
Guys, can you just give me the time?
Yep.
It's all. You got
I'll
the
yield
floor.
it when it's over.
Okay.
Gowan, is upset about Abigail, and so I think he could be doing something fun, interesting, mischievous with the railroad. They're just gonna wake up one day. There's gonna be a train going through the middle of Hope Valley, and be like, "What happened here?" I don't know what's gonna happen, but baseball was great in this. I thought it was just hilarious to see it happen, and so for that reason, it gets a pass. It gets a thumbs up from Bran because it happened.
To echo you, Panda, there is nothing more Win Calls the Heart than a baseball game being pumped up all episode to end in a tie for no other reason other than they just called it a tie. Like, there's not a rain, there's no injury, literally the writers couldn't have someone win and someone lose. They couldn't have something of consequence happen in the show. They couldn't do it. They couldn't, because they were just that's why it took them 3 years to decide on Lucas or Nathan, because they literally can't make up their mind when it comes to anything of consequence happening. That's why the show's bad. It was bad in 1. It's worse now. We will continue down this road with railroad or not. It's bad television. I mean, in this episode, Abigail comes very close to bribing Jack to letting Cody still pitch, and that was the biggest fun for me. Like, so many times her character really pulls a Lori Loughlin, and I love it. Aside from that, it's tough sledding, as it always is. It's bad on top of bad. Bill Avery, nobody knows what he's doing. Nobody knows. Nobody can tell me what he does for a living. No one. Nobody cares. Doesn't matter.
He helps in the kitchen, I think.
Yeah, he wears a half
He's
apron.
a private investigator.
He umpires baseball games when they're called to be umpired, and he calls them a tie.
His knees hurt. I think he's just ready to go home. I can't do this anymore.
It's bad. It's just
Hurt
bad.
hurt my lower back.
It is designed to just be a Xanax every week, just to level you from any strong opinions. You're just supposed to meander through life, drugged into oblivion. That is what's happening on Win Calls the Heart.
And you can't honestly believe that something's going to come of the railroad
Brand is
at this
an
point.
eternal optimist who's trying his best to look on the bright side, knowing he cannot see the light at the end of the tunnel with or without a railroad.
Because honestly, you can't have 3 guys just every week just sit here and
Railroad on the show.
railroad the show. But it's meaningless. Yes, Dan, I agree with you. I've crossed over the line. There is
on,
no
buddy.
hope.
Come on.
Is there enough room for me?
Come on, oh yeah.
Bring
Plenty.
in-
This train has left the station, but there's always plenty of room on board.
How do we get to it, though, if it's gone?
It's a long train. You jump on one of the cars.
Well, a golf cart keeps up
No,
with
it's
the
faster
train.
than a train.
It's
That's
fat.
true.
Golf cart's faster than a train.
More powerful than a locomotive. That's what I heard.
Yep.
That's phenomenal. That's on the
Unbelievable.
third Google result. I think.
Third page.
It's 12 to 14, and then it's 25, and then it's
not
faster than a
12 than
locomotive.
25. We're not doing this again.
It's time for all the fields part of the show. We talk about the fields. Panda, Dan. Fields for me was the girl pitching. I thought it was great. Let's take a quick break. We'll be right back here on Dynamite.
Panda has one thing.
I
written
love
down.
his notes, man.
It's not its banquet time. It's
Banquet time.
it's why did he call the baseball game?
Why did he call the baseball game? There are other ones, but I just
Excuse me, wait, what?
yeah, sure.
ahead.
Why did they call the baseball game? It's the 8th inning. There's not the
He
9th inning.
He called the
sunny day.
baseball
It's
game.
a sunny day.
He called the baseball game
Because he wants everyone to be unified.
He felt the town unifying and rallying
That's
around
not
this
baseball.
kid.
That's not a game. That's a ploy. It's propaganda.
Not a
It's
game.
stupid.
Practice.
Nothing is of consequence. I'm done. I just can't.
The town seemed to be fine with the
Madden.
idea. The town
I
seemed
want-
because
fine.
everyone there's a
I
bunch
want
of
to
doofuses
live-
too.
I want to live in Hope Valley just to make people make difficult decisions. Like just to literally have a job where it's just like you have to choose.
Bill says, I think it's we should call the game. Don't you guys?
And I show up like
hey guys.
I show up with like a Snidely Whiplash mustache, and I'm like, if you call the game, I bomb the mine. And then I just disappear, and Bill's gotta let it play out to see who wins.
That's
These kids, what's this guy? He's twirling his mustache. Can somebody catch that guy?
He's gonna bomb the
Did he
mine.
just disappear and make a baseball turn into fireworks? That's the baseball we need to use. How are we supposed to finish the game now? Hello. There's nobody in the mine, but I'm going to blow up your way of life. Boom. Just call the game, Bill.
deuces.
That's all I want to do.
I got a few, if you guys don't mind. Rosemary has the gall to say cherry cobbler isn't dessert, it's cobbler.
cobbler.
Well,
Are
get
you
out of
kidding
here.
me?
And then there's this whole funny back and forth. Rosemary is Elizabeth's neighbor now, as you know. And they do this whole thing about how Rosemary's listening through the walls. And I'm just here to tell you the houses are not conjoined.
They're not.
They have a gap in
Yes.
between the houses.
I could lay down in between those two houses easily.
Is she supposed to be outside the house listening through the walls?
Here's my only
Usually,
take.
like listening through the walls means you're
Here's my
sharing
only
a
take
wall.
There's no central air conditioning, obviously. So it's hot out. Baseball season, boys of summer.
Well,
So
but
the
it might be. There's a lot of cardigans too, though. So we don't know.
but
It's
it's cold-
spring.
it's
It's
cold in
spring,
Canada.
actually. She says
Okay.
my favorite season is spring.
It's hot. Yeah, you're right. That's true. It's hot outside. They open the windows. She can hear. Then I buy it. But if it's not that, I don't get it.
They keep saying listening through the
Yeah,
walls.
they do. Doesn't make any sense.
Doesn't make sense.
Listening through the walls implies you share a wall.
They
right?
don't share a wall.
We all agree that.
Yes.
Yes.
Don't share
we
a
all,
wall.
We all agree that. That's what I said.
We all agree that.
We all agree that.
Mm-hmm.
And then you know what? This brings me back. It is springtime, but the amount of heavy cardigans that are being worn during baseball practice is
next level.
It's a disaster. It's
next
not.
level.
You shouldn't do it. You
Kind of
should.
restricting.
Yes.
Yeah.
You need full mobility.
Full mobility. You sure do.
Dano.
Yeah, so this episode starts before the credits roll with this guy who comes to town and he works for the railroad and he says, I'm going to bring the future
Yes.
to Hope Valley. Well, it's 1913. If it was 1813, you would be by and large correct. But in 1913, the future is an automobile. It's not a railroad. The railroads have crossed through the countryside for 100 years at this point. The future of transportation is not the railroad. It just isn't. Railroads are still great, still make it easier to transport things and go places, but to act like in 1913 that the railroad is the future is patently absurd. Like, I get sometimes their references aren't with the time frame, but this is swinging and miss by 100 years. Like this is crazy town. What we're talking about here.
It's bad.
And not only that, but if it's a private land, like they can just build the railroad around Jed's land. Like it's not like there's a lot of mountains in Hope Valley. It's not like Jed's land is the only flat space. Like, why can't they just build around it? It doesn't make any sense. Elizabeth's having a really hard time with the kids getting to know each other. And Jack pipes up with the humdinger of, when I was a kid, we would play sports. That's what we do. Here's a fresh idea, hot and fresh out the kitchen for you. Sports. And she acts like he just taught her calculus. She's like, you think that would work here? No, Elizabeth. Sports is only for big cities. Small town people don't play sports. Stop it with your dumb questions. It's terrible. And their version of baseball is a group in a circle with no gloves tossing a ball up in the air. Not baseball, not even close. Sorry, it just isn't close. Why, and I said this during your synopsis, why is the guy who's the hero at the end coaching the pitcher from the other team? The girl is pitching for Jack's team. The kid who's got the knee problem is the assistant coach for Elizabeth's team. But he goes out there and shows her how to pitch, like gives her some pointers on how to pitch, and they're on different teams.
You don't get it. You don't get small town life, man. We
Clearly.
are for each other. We're for each other. If you were on
That's why it's a tie.
If you were on a opposing podcasting team, and I would give you pointers.
If we were competing in a podcast game against each other?
Yes.
No, you wouldn't.
Of course I
you're
would.
way too competitive for that.
What's a podcast game?
I know, it doesn't exist. It was a bad example. Who thought of it?
I like podcast games. One.
The podcast games. I'm here for it.
Ooh, what if there was the podcast Olympics?
Ooh, I don't know how that would work.
Setting up mics.
Aside from injury. Yeah. Mike's doing sound checks.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Host ad reads.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yeah.
5. Tammy.
Philo. Tammy Philo.
The difficulty of landing that bit, 7. Execution,
No.
2.
The difficulty's a 10. The execution's a 3. Like, the problem was the difficulty. It wasn't you went for a 10 of 10 with Tammy Philo.
You don't show up to the Olympics and do
With
a
a weak
cartwheel.
bit.
You do a triple flasher on the 17th.
Triple flash on the 17th. Saw him live.
Should have.
So good.
You got any more?
That's it.
It's time for Hopes and Valleys. As part of the show, we talk about the things they're excited about and or bummed about in regards to this show of When It Calls to Heart.
The Valley is Rosemary and what's
Lee.
Guys, like
Woof.
this
What are we
is
doing?
a plot that could not be going slower. I don't know what we're going to do. These two don't even seem like they like each other in the show. No chemistry there. That's my Valley. My hope is eventually Jack's going to die, which is going to move something forward. Like that's just what boils down to. And I'm not trying to be like cynical. That's literally the next big event
Yes.
that's going to
they're going to get married
propel
and
a
have
change.
a kid, like get
But
pregnant.
that doesn't materially change anything.
No.
I'm talking about
Which is what I
a
was saying
change
2 weeks
for
ago.
the
And
actual
you
show.
were like, no, they're going to get married or going to get engaged. Or blah,
I
blah,
know,
blah.
and but I see it now.
You said the finale was setting up all this stuff that's going to change things.
It set up nothing.
Yep.
This is
Bingo.
what we started, because this is really truly the first episode of
Yes.
season 4.
Yes.
And what we've established is there's a railroad coming to town. That's the big thing.
And Jack's proposal to Elizabeth was great, wasn't it? It was almost like you didn't even see it.
I just want to hit my head with a microphone repeatedly.
that's
it's
fair.
just, it stinks.
Yeah.
It's banquet time.
Banquet time.
Yeah, the railroad's mine. I think it's going to turn out to be a humdinger of a storyline. Dan?
So my Valley of Gowan being just inexcusable writing is still my Valley, but it almost got taken by Lee and Rosemary. What are we doing with these two characters? What, guys, every week Rosemary cannot annoy Lee.
Yeah, the only
and then
person-
come to a conclusion at the end of the week. It's not a sitcom set in the 70s.
The only person who's more annoyed by Rosemary than Dan is her husband.
Yes. Like every week. Like I just don't understand. Those two in the Aloha Hawaii movie had good chemistry, and she does a great job in that movie. Why is it that they're writing her like they write Sheldon on The Big Bang Theory? It's like, what can we get her into this week?
Can you
She's
imagine?
No.
Can you imagine? A cobbler's not dessert, bazinga.
I think they've struck gold with this character, and I'm not saying that Pascal Hunn's not talented. I'm saying that it just hijacks 20 minutes of every episode for her to be annoying to Lee in a new way.
And make everything more inconvenient for everyone in the process.
Yes. Like, I don't get it.
And who's sitting there watching the show and being like, oh, that Rosemary, what's she going to get into this week? If you are that person, we're probably not going to be friends.
You did say that this week, though, when we were watching it. You said that Rosemary. I know you're saying it sarcastically, but you did say it.
I did say that Rosemary. Because, she's taking Jack's letters. Ooh,
the thing about Rosemary that could fix the character wouldn't exist if you just said, just say things before you do them. Like, that's her whole bit for however long she's been on the show. If she would just say things and then do them, then there would never be any controversy and she would be a welcome addition to the show. But then it's like, I made all this food. I told nobody. How dare you? I showed up at Lee's office without telling him to redesign his office. Well, just tell him. Just say it. Just use your words.
But in the process, they're really doing a disservice to her character. There's no character growth.
No.
There's no, and she's still self-centered.
And Pascal Hutton is a really good actor.
Yes.
And she's just saddled with the same.
It's bad writing.
It's just like Steve Urkel every week. Like, what are we doing? Like, give her a chance to do something else for the love. It's terrible. But also Gowan's still my valley.
We did, everybody. Pocket Watch.
Hey, why don't we switch it to Shepherd's Pie Watch, because we have gotten another
Shepherd's Pie Watch? Yes, they do talk about Shepherd's Pie in this episode.
They do.
Smolder counts. What do we have, boys?
Ooh, I thought it was another good week for Jack.
Jack is hitting his stride.
He is 8.7 for me.
I think this is the hottest he's been. It's a 9.6.
Whoa!
Incorrect. 7.5.
Wow. Clearly, I'm right. Somewhere in between these two takes.
We did, everybody.
What's
Congratulations.
calling
It's
my
time for What's
heart?
Calling My Heart. The part of the show, we read an email that you sent him to hello@deckthehallmark.com telling you what you're digging right now. What's calling your heart?
Sarah Kirkolis writes, hello, Dan, Bran, and Panda.
Hi, Sarah.
Hi, Sarah. I've been working my way through the Bramble Jam podcast and came across a big three from September 2020 that I hadn't heard before. So the big three is, if you go to BrambleJamPlus.com.
It's a basketball league. It's 3-on-3.
And you're a double-decker, you get some extra podcasts, and occasionally we'll do a thing called the Big Three, where all three of us give three things we're digging on right then.
And occasionally, Trace and Rig do a morning show.
Yeah, which is wild.
So some months you get a Big Three, sometimes you get a morning show.
Who knows what's going to happen? And in it, Dan talked about how he's really not a song guy. I'm not a big music guy. But his wife had him listen to a song, and he loved it. I'm not a huge music person either. But when someone I'm friends with says that they love a song or album, I have to check it out. This is how you know you guys have made it to friend status, because I paused the podcast and went to listen to the song. Wow. That's she paused it.
Wow.
Yeah.
We don't recommend that normally, but go ahead.
Hold On Tight by Aloe Black is calling my heart. I quickly forwarded it to my very closest friends because this is our relationship. Hold tight to me. I'll hold tight to you. These ladies have been with me through thick and thin and every other cliche you could think of.
Yes.
So thanks for sharing your favorite things. It helps me give language to some of my deepest feelings for the closest to me.
Wow.
And honestly, can't we all use more of that? Take care and have a wonderful weekend. Sarah, thank you for the kind email
love
and
that.
inspiring nonetheless.
That Aloe Black, man, he's great.
I'm
Dude,
glad
he
that we're
can
friends.
Sing. Man, can he sing.
Dan and I bonded over Aloe Black.
We did. That's a true story. I don't know if it's a story for right now, but it's a story for at some point.
That's exactly right. Ask us.
Ask us.
Come to a live show and
then
ask
raise
us.
your hand and be like, hey, how did you and Brand bond over Aloe Black? You're going to get a great story out of it.
That's exactly right.
It's a decent story.
It's not that great.
It's like a 6
we
of 10
listened to
story.
it together.
Yeah. Now it sounds weirder, I think, than you. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine.
All right, guys. We'll be back tomorrow, and this is going to be a lot of fun. Mystery 101. Mystery 101, the latest one. We're getting to it. And then on Friday, the writer of the Mystery 101 series is going to be joining us. So it's going to be a lot of fun.
Boy.
So a very fun week here on Deck the
Dude,
Hallmark.
it's a lot of hot takes coming. A lot of people upset at the writer for the.
So we'll get to it.
Mystery 101.
Oh, boy.
I'm
We'll get
excited
to it.
about it. That's right.
Until then, may we be the first to wish you a Merry Christmas.
Deck the Hallmark's a Bramble Jam podcast. It's presented by Philo TV. It's produced by Brandon Gray and recorded live in, Greenville, South Carolina. Set decor is by Plum at Haywood Mall. For more information on Deck the Hallmark, you can go to deckthehallmark.com. For more information on Bramble Jam Podcast Network, you can go to bramblejampodcast.com.